Okay, here we go. 14 years. 14 years. Oh, man, this was a rough year. This was probably one of the roughest years I've ever experienced in my life. One of the rough, if not the roughest, one of the roughest. And I'm talking business, family, relationship, it was an action-packed year. And I'm doing great. Like, I'm doing amazing. I'm doing awesome today. I was not awesome this entire year. And really it started at the beginning of 2024. And I was I was so twisted up. I normally post one of these videos every sobriety birthday, and I didn't even post one last year. I was just so twisted up I couldn't even get myself to do it. But this year I feel great. So last year I'm not going to get into the details right now, but you know what I want to share is I want to share my 5 secrets to my sobriety. So I kind of look back, what are the 5 reasons I was able to stay sober this year? There's lots of reasons why I was able to stay sober. And I can tell you, even though this was the most difficult year, one of the most difficult years I've ever experienced in my life, I never had the desire to drink or drug. I never thought that was a good solution. And let's be honest, drinking and drugging, it is a solution. And it's a good solution. It makes you feel much better. But I was able to sit with my feelings. And a lot of times it was really painful. And I'm just so grateful for my program, for AA, for the people in my life, for my connections, for my support, for like all of the things. I don't know how I would have been able to make it last year. So, 5 secrets. Self-care, community, significant connections, focus or being intentional, and 5, being of service. So number 1, self-care. And anybody that's known me for any period of time knows that self-care is just such a big part. It's always been a big part of my life, ever since I got sober anyways. And so for me, self-care looks like first thing in the morning, I do breath work, I pray, I meditate. Of course, I make my bed. I do a gratitude list. I send my gratitude list out to a bunch of guys that I'm connected to. That's how I start every single day. I give myself an hour every single day. I'm up really early. So I ride on Tuesday and Thursday, and I leave my house at about 5. So that means I'm up at 4. And that first hour, I always give myself an hour because I gotta do my morning routine. My morning routine just helps me get the day started off on the right foot. I'm never like hitting the snooze button and running out the door to my first thing. That doesn't ever happen. I always give myself pretty much an hour. I mean, there are occasions when I give myself 40 or 45 minutes, but that's rare. That's probably less than a dozen times a year. It's probably less than 5 times a year, actually. And then self-care also, I would include eating healthy, exercising, getting enough sleep. I have an Oura ring that I use to track my sleep. I'm working with, I have a therapist that I see on a regular basis. I surround myself with positive people. I surround myself with people that I want to be like, because I know that I am the average or the aggregate of the 5 people that I spend the most time with. So I'm very, I spend my time with people that have what I want. I spend my time with people that are doing the things that I want to do. And that's important to me. I spend a lot of time in meditation, prayer. I would also include personal development in that. I've got this. I'm going to a Joe Dispenza retreat here next weekend. I'm going to the initial Joe Dispenza retreat, and then I'm going to do the advanced retreat. There's a few other retreats. I went to a men's retreat a few months ago with a guy named Andrew Horn, the Junto retreat. That was great. That was amazing. I went to a couple of meditation retreats. I went one with Ali Maya. She's in Northern California. I did a couple of her retreats, and those are just, I would consider those all self-care. I'm doing things to continue growing and developing personally, professionally. Second, community. So there was a study, I don't remember exactly how the study or what they used for this study, but people that were connected to more community, like being connected to more communities is associated with happiness. I don't know how they gauge happiness. But for me, the communities, I've got the AA community, I've got the CrossFit community. I started going to Soul. So this year, right now, this is kind of my community. My communities have changed. I've always had lots of communities. And the communities for me, again, AA, that's kind of my foundation. And when I first got sober, my first couple years, I went to 1 or 2 AA meetings every single day. I sponsored guys. I had service commitments. I spoke at meetings. I chaired meetings. I was so connected to AA, and that was really what I needed. And over the last 14 years, sometimes I'm more connected, sometimes I'm less connected, but I'm always connected. And right now, honestly, I haven't been going to as many meetings, but I still have guys that are in AA that I stay connected to on a daily basis. And that's important to me. And then I've got, like right now, I'm doing yoga. I'm going to Radiate. So I'm part of that community. And the other thing I kind of realized, I was doing a little bit of bouncing around. Like I was going to Radiate 1 or 2 days a week. I was going to Modern Yoga 1 or 2 days a week, which I love Modern. I was going to Soul 1 or 2 days. I was going to Body. I was going to F45. Like I was doing all these little things, and I just realized that I really want to be a little more consistent. And so I've chosen to spend more time. So right now I'm at Soul CrossFit, 2-3 days a week. Radiate 3, 4, 5 days a week. Genius Network. I'm part of that community. That community has been so helpful. And again, just being around people that are doing things that I want to do in business and making an impact in the world. Those are the communities that I can think of off the top of my head. But it's so important for me to be part of these communities where I'm around people and I've got the connections. What are they? The opposite of addiction is connection. So staying connected to these communities has been really important for me. Number 3, significant connections. And so I've got a handful of people that I stay connected to on a regular basis, people that I check in with. And again, this last year has been so difficult, and I can't even tell you, I've had so many people that would reach out to me on a daily basis just to check on me. I have a therapist that I see on a regular basis. I've got a guy named Wes Crest that I go and see on a weekly basis, and I work out with him, but it's really kind of like a therapy session. And so I know some people say that for women, or maybe for men too, I guess, a hairstylist can be kind of like a therapist, and that's kind of how Wes is for me. I work out with him, and I get I get what I need. It's so valuable that time with him. Larry Arnold, which I haven't really been connected to Larry over the last year, but he's another one that's a good one for me. I work out with him. I run with him. When I get hurt, he's the one that helps me out. There's other people. There's so many people that I stay connected to that are important for my recovery. Being intentional with my time. So, and I would say this is focus. Again, last year, the business was, we had some really difficult things that we went through last year. Really, really, really difficult. And anybody that knows anything about behavioral health in Arizona last year knows what I'm talking about. And I remember, so being intentional with my times, I'm focused on my mission and my purpose. My mission and my purpose is to build a business that helps people that are struggling with mental health, mental illness, and addiction. And we were struggling, and there were some things that happened. I'm not going to go into it, but I mean, I literally liquidated everything. I liquidated my stocks, my investments, my crypto, more crypto, more crypto. I maxed out my HELOC on my home. Then I sold my home and I moved into an apartment. And all the while, I got to remember that I'm not unique. I got to remember that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that's struggling. I'm not the only one that's going through these issues. There's a song that a woman named Tara Davina wrote. It's called Intend and Surrender. She says, everything that happens is the best thing that can happen. And I got to remember that. I'm not unique, and everything that happens is the best thing that can happen. All of these things that are happening, they're supposed to happen, and they might not feel good at the time, and they definitely didn't feel good. They didn't feel good. I maxed out my credit cards. I got a couple of hard money loans, which anybody who's gotten a hard money loan knows it's gnarly. I mean, it's freaking, but I had to. I mean, I was just surviving. And those hard money loans, man, bam, every week my bank account was getting hit. Meanwhile, my team, I can't totally share everything with, I can't share things with my team. Because if I shared what was going on in the business with my team, then I would have people that didn't feel safe. I knew that I was going to be able to make it through. I knew that we were going to be able to make it through. So, also the other thing that happened is that I had some issues with my gut. So gut issues, which that's a whole thing that I'm working through it. I'm almost through it. I'm working with Dr. Donnie Warden. She's amazing. I feel so much better. My adrenals were shot. My cortisol levels were all out of whack. It's just all of the things. And I said, well, why do I have these things? She said, stress. The other thing, being focused, being intentional with my time, that means I'm not running around distracting myself. I'm not looking for the solution in other ways. I'm sitting with my feelings. I'm feeling my feelings. I'm not running out and dating multiple women. I'm not out sleeping around. I'm not gambling. I'm not excessively looking at Facebook. I'm not excessively watching TV either, which I've got nothing against any of those things. Just for me personally, what has helped me is being intentional and being focused and focusing on the things that are going to help me move through the issues. And not to mention, it's just the excessive things that I just talked about. That's the excessive behavior. That's the alcoholic behavior. That's the lying, cheating, and stealing. Those are the things that potentially could lead to a drink or a drug. And for me, sitting with my emotions and sitting with my feelings and working through the things that I need, like putting my focus on things that I need to do, has been what has helped me. And then 5, being of service, getting out of myself, helping another person. Joe Polish wrote a book. It's called What's in It for Them. Joe Polish, Genius Network. Joe has been so helpful for me, for my life. His community has been so helpful for me in my life. But what's in it for them? So this is all about contributing value. How can I help another person? I think Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get you get everything that you want. That's been my experience. And I'm in a business of helping people, and I had some difficult times, and guess what? It's working out. So here I am today. Here I am today, and I'm in 2025, and I can't even tell you. I'm through all of the stuff, all of the issues. We're on the other side of it. And I always remembered, this too shall pass. There's a gift on the other side. This is happening for me, not to me. Like all of the things, all those AA sayings and non-AA sayings have really just helped me. And today, man, I'm doing so great. I'm like physically, I'm feeling great, emotionally, spiritually. I feel good about the man I am. I feel good about my behavior. I feel good about the things that I do and the things that I say. And hey, I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. But the business is doing great. Our clinical team is the best we've ever had. My team is the best and the strongest we've ever had. I love my team. I love my team, and I love the work that we do, and I love that we're helping a lot of people. Our census is up. We're getting paid. We're helping people. I mean, it's just like a few months ago, I didn't feel this way, and things kind of started to flip like at the end of December, and if I didn't stay clean and sober, there's no way that I would be where I'm at today. The other thing is, I would say doing hard things. Doing hard things really helps me. And doing hard things can be everything from doing a cold plunge. You do a cold plunge for 3 minutes. It's hard. Anybody that's done a cold plunge, or even if you haven't done a cold plunge, you do a cold plunge in the morning first thing, guess what? The rest of the day is easy. Doing hard things with other people is also good. Like today, I rode with a cycling group that I'm part of, which again is another community I'm part of. And we rode 85 miles, and it was a long ride. But guess what? There's a bond that forms when you do hard things with other people. And then we went and had breakfast or brunch after. And it was just a beautiful thing. And doing hard things prepares me for other hard things. So physical hard things. Even I remember I used to do spin, and spin was hard. And now I'm cycling. Cycling, in my opinion, it's way harder. Anyways, okay, I'm starting to ramble, but thanks for listening, and I hope you got something out of this. And man, I just can't even say. I'm just like, I love being sober. I love my life. I wouldn't have what I had today without my sobriety. So